Welcome to Newslaundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. Newslaundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a Newslaundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. We are back with another episode of Hafta. It is the 21st of April, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we're recording this on a Thursday. With me on the panel today in our studio with our new fancy mics in case we're sounding better.
Yes, very fancy.
Hi. They are fancy.
Raman Kirpal.
Feeling nervous.
Manisha Pande.
Hi.
The only thing is make sure your face is pointed towards the mic.
Can't it catch? Like, I can just...
Yeah, but there'll be... No, don't... Try to keep it as... your face as close to the mic as possible. Joining us on the phone line online is Anand from Pune. Hi, Anand.
Hello.
Also joining us on the phone line is Himanshu. Hi, Himanshu.
Hi.
By way of introduction, Himanshu has not been on the Hafta before. It's his first time, so welcome, Himanshu. Himanshu is an associate professor in economics at the Center of Economic Studies and Planning, JNU. He is a visiting fellow at the Centre des Sciences Humaines. I don't know how I pronounce that. How do you pronounce that, Himanshu?
Centre des Sciences Humaines. That's the French.
Centre des Sciences Humaines.
Centre des Sciences Humaines.
Okay, that's how I pronounce it, like Himanshu said, not like how I said it. His primary area of research is development economics with a focus on poverty, inequality, employment, food security, rural development and agrarian change. And he's been a regular contributor, including his fortnightly column in the Mint newspaper. He's written How Lives Change, Palanpur, India and Development Economics with Nicholas Stern and Peter Langeau, which again I'm sure I've mispronounced.
It's Peter Langeau.
How do you pronounce
Peter
that?
Langeau. The J is silent.
Oh, I see. The J is a year. Okay, like the fjord.
Yeah.
I see. Got it. So Himanshu, how many languages do you speak?
Only two. Hindi and English. And if you include Bhojpuri,
Oh, I see.
then I speak Bhojpuri.
I see. Okay. Because your pronunciation of all the others was with such ease. मैंने कहा maybe...
Competent in French pronunciation also.
I thought you would probably have read Piketty's book in the original language.
No.
But
I can pick up words, but not very comfortable.
So we will be discussing inflation, which is a headline maker this week, and amongst other things. But let's get the headlines first from Manisha.
Yes, clashes between two communities erupted when a Hanuman Jayanti procession was passing through localities in Jahangirpuri in northeast Delhi. This left 8 police personnel and 1 local resident injured. Delhi police has registered a case against members of VHP and Bajrang Dal for organizing the Shobha Yatra in Jahangirpuri. The VHP meanwhile has tweeted out its permission, and they've also said the Delhi police better not do anything to us.
Are you sure they have named VHP in the FIR?
They have asked them to join the probe. That's what, because that's what I last read. There is an FIR on the organizers of the third procession. But I don't think they have filed an FIR against a particular VHP member.
But I don't think they have made a direct connection that the third procession was the VHP's.
Right.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the Ansar, who's a resident, has been slapped with NSA, and there's a conspiracy charge on him for the riots. Congress delegation is going to meet demolition-affected families and submit a report to Sonia Gandhi. There was an encroachment drive yesterday, that is Wednesday, that started in the morning. The Supreme Court stopped it somewhere at around 12, but it continued for 2 more hours at least. And houses were razed, and especially the locality that was around the mosque. Vrinda Karat was the only politician who was present on the ground to show some sort of protest. Otherwise, the Congress tweeted memes, and Aam Aadmi Party blamed BJP for harboring Bangladeshis and Rohingyas and causing riots. So complete no-show by the opposition here.
Absolutely.
Prashant,
Today they are there on the
they're going to
ground.
the delegate. Uvesi also was there last evening.
At night,
was
yeah,
also
he got
present.
there after
He
sundown.
get there. Prashant Kishore is back in news. He's going to be meeting top Congress leaders at 10 Janpat. This is the second meeting in 3 days. He's prepared apparently some 600 slides for the Congress delegation. And there are talks again that he's going to help them revive the party. Let's see what happens with that. Amid incidents of violence during festivals, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed that no religious procession should be taken out without permission and that usage of loudspeakers should not bother others. So he's maybe trying to give a subtle message to Amit Shah's police that I'm going to manage my police better. But yeah, he issued a very strict warning of sorts that things should go peacefully, especially around Eid. Wholesale price index-based inflation has surged to 14.55% in March 2022 after a 13.11% reading in February 2022. This is because prices of crude oil and other commodities have risen due to disruptions in global supply chain in the wake of the Russia-Ukraine war.
But I'm sure there are other reasons which Himanshu, I'm sure, will tell us about.
One side effect of Russia attacking Ukraine has also been a rise in global wheat prices, and importers are struggling. Some experts have also predicted a wheat price crisis in India, along with a coal shortage. Consumer price index at a 17-month high. Nirmala Sitharaman has said that India has not breached inflation target, quote-unquote, so badly. Discussions and debates on TV channels on matters related to ongoing criminal trials amount to direct interference of criminal justice. That's what the Supreme Court said on Tuesday.
That's, well, worrying and strange.
Gujarat MLA Jignesh Mewani has been arrested by Assam police in Gujarat over a tweet on Nathuram Godse and Modi, apparently.
Bizarre.
Delhi sees 60% increase in daily COVID cases since yesterday. Masks are mandatory again, and there's a fine of 500 rupees, which was not there earlier. In a shocking case of sexual assault against a minor, 13-year-old girl was raped by 80 men for over 8 months. This happened in different brothels of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Quite a disturbing piece of news. UK PM Boris Johnson arrived at Sabarmati Ashram today. You could see him on the charkha. Visuals all over the news.
In fact,
and he's here for a 2-day trip.
So a very funny tweet. I forget who it was by. It said, yet another English spinner having problems in India. Then he tried to spin the thing.
Which other spinner had problems in India?
It's a cricketer thing. Yeah. I'm guessing cricket. I'm guessing British spinners can't spin in India.
Yes.
Sasikala will be questioned in Kodan case.
In fact, I think while we're recording this, she's already been questioned.
Nirmala Sitharaman has said that India will extend all possible cooperation to Sri Lanka. Russia controls all of Mariupol. This was breaking news today in the afternoon, and Putin has said that this is a successful liberation, quote unquote. Shares dipped 25% as Netflix reports a drop in subscribers for first time in 10 years.
Well, so does Newslaundry. We also showed a dip in subscribers this last month.
Very worrying.
So I really don't understand what many people are doing. I know what some of you are doing. The auto subscription, the auto renewal feature, although the RBI said it should work for payments below 5,000, for many credit cards, it's not working. So we have to remind many of you that your subscription is due. But remember, guys, if you don't make that effort to subscribe, we don't have sales team that are approaching advertisers. So it directly impacts what we can do on the ground. The reason we could send out 15 people across the country was because you guys topped up the NL Sena project. But if money goes down, it is harder for our reporters to travel. So please, while I understand this auto renewal failure is a big problem, but if you can make an effort, do subscribe and tell your friends too. We need to grow. Let's try to double our on-ground reporters team by end of this year. And we can only do it if you do it with us. So please. And we also have a new NL Sena project up. Go onto the website and check out that NL Sena project. The link is also in the show notes below. I hope you contribute to that as well.
A UK court on Wednesday issued a formal order to extradite WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the US to face trial over the publication of secret files relating to Iraq and Afghanistan war.
So those are the headlines. Before we get into the discussion and start with Himanshu on inflation, I will be traveling to London for a conference between the 17th and the 21st of May.
Oh,
so
that's soon.
If any subscribers there, I've said please mail subscription@newslaundry.com. I repeat, subscription@newslaundry.com. Like we had a subscriber meet in New York and Columbia when I was there, Columbia University, not Columbia the country, in Boston and New York. I mean, I got a lot of ideas from you guys. In fact, many of those ideas have been put into practice at Newslaundry. So if there are enough subscribers in London, we can organize a meetup there as well. And also we have a limited period offer. If you gift an annual Disruptor subscription, in addition to the merch that you'll get, we'll send you a book signed by the Newslaundry team. And we have a couple of calendars to give out by Manjul, that wonderful famous cartoonist. So do check that out, that offer. We have 4 books right now that we will give out with the signature of the NL team. Saeed Naqvi's The Muslim Vanishes, Anupma Chopra's A Place in My Heart, M.R. Sharan's Last Among Equals, and Amitav Kumar's The Blue Book, A Writer's Journal. So once you've gifted the subscription, write to us on subscription@newslaundry.com. I repeat, subscription@newslaundry.com. With the giftee's email address, the team will share the entire catalogue of books available and we can ship that merchandise to the giftee, but only in India. We cannot ship overseas. So you can go to the link below. It's in the show notes. It is newslaundry.com/gift to gift a subscription. And you get all this additional benefit with that. In India, apparently, the last time we had this kind of inflation was
1991 economic
or 91
crisis.
before the liberalization. So, can you give us some clarity about how bad is it? And is it similarly bad all over the world, or are we the outliers one way or the other?
I think it is quite bad, and it's going to get worse as we move along. But I think it's not something which is very new. It's not something which happened last time at the time of the economic crisis in 1991. In fact, much closer between 2008 to 2011-12 period is a period when we had, at least in India, we had similar kind of an inflation, very high persistent inflation, starting from the wholesale prices and then shifting to retail prices. But yes, global inflation in that sense has not been so high for the last 40 years, that you're right. It was only in the late 70s and early 80s that most of the developed countries, the advanced countries, had this level of inflation, particularly the US. What the increase in oil prices does is that, and we are living in a very globalized kind of a world, very globalized world in the sense most of the commodity prices, and that includes oil as well, they move in tandem. In the sense when oil prices rise, you will see primary commodity prices rising, copper, steel, coal, all of these prices start rising at the same time. That happens because of financial interconnectivity, which is that you are in a speculative mood, then everybody gets pulled up, and that's something which starts happening, including agricultural commodity. So, for example, we're talking so much about wheat, but even cotton, for example, cotton inflation has been on fire. Cotton prices have been going up. And if you try and switch away from petroleum, then the easy alternative, which is what our finance minister also was saying, is what we call biofuels, which is ethanol coming from agricultural commodities. One of the primary commodities for that is corn, for example. US does it.
Right.
So agricultural commodity prices go up. Cotton prices are going up because cottonseed oil, which is also used as a fuel in that sense.
One point that's more on macro level, that the current budget was presented with the expectation, if I remember correctly, that while oil price would be around $70 to $75 per gallon, now it has gone far higher. So that would lead to a lot of readjustment at macro level policies also. The expectation has been exceeded by a huge margin.
One way in which they are going to try and offset it is they've already announced that the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, they're going to extend till September. So that will take care of the most vulnerable and protect them against at least they won't starve. That's the thinking. And it's worked for them in the previous election. So I'm guessing that the extension till September means that they're probably foreseeing things.
So that benefits how many families? 8 crore families or something, right?
That was in UP. But I was about to say this. I mean,
no, but all over India.
To counter inflation, this is the subsidized food is one option that the government has found that they can easily nullify the impact of the increasing
food
inflation
at least.
So I think even in the coming assembly elections, they have found the solution that most of the people who go to the poorer ones, so they can always come up with these subsidized schemes.
What stops Indian RBI from raising interest rates to 8-9% from like the 5-6% it is now?
The real question, and which is what I was coming to in this case, is that why is it that the RBI was not raising interest rates so far? And that comes from the fact that last 5 years has actually been a disastrous 5 years for the Indian economy, where your investment has slumped, it has actually collapsed, your exports have collapsed, your domestic demand has collapsed. And RBI so far actually has been hoping against hope that by keeping the interest rates low, they will provide investable surplus and investable money to the corporate sectors.
Okay, so now I think the one thing that struck me was that I think it's very dangerous that we are getting into the zone, which was there in the 80s also, and even up to the early 90s to mid 90s, of might is right. I think this is not by coincidence. I think Mr. Shah thrives in chaos. That is his kind of default zone. I think Delhi is getting to that stage because if someone can take out a gun and wave it, knowing that the cop can't do anything because of political reasons, you are not very far from others saying, okay, we'll also do the same.
Now, definition of provocation has now become very clear that there is very provocative, and there are very patterns of provocative gestures. It is not just now passing through an area. There were times when passing through an area was seen as provocation, but now it's very different. And I would not say that this is all very organized, but there is a kind of system in this chaos also, that various splinter groups which are there, and which kind of say demonstration of mischief. Through demonstration of mischief, they may not be very much driven by a feeling for one community or hatred for the community, but just the demonstration of mischief and the visibility that it gets them can be there. So that is also playing.
I think it's very, apart from the demolition, it's very scary just to see what's happening, and especially over the past 3 weeks, because this is a very pakka formula now that the BJP's got, that all you have to do is go through, take a procession, do your lewd singing or provoke in whatever way, and you get a disproportionate action from the other side, and which in North Delhi, it has been disproportionate. All said and done, the conversation will be, and thanks to media also, but also because of the actions of the community, you can't be on the road shooting around like that, pelting stones. And that is what is most visible from this, that Hindus take out a rally and they are pelted at, and their guns come out of there. But no one's talking about what the Muslim community is going through to come to this point. Firstly, I think that it just doesn't matter what's happening in Jahangirpuri, and the reaction that Muslims must have had there is not limited to what happened to them or the quarrel there or the scuffle there.
It's what you're subjected to.
It's what you're subjected to.
Daily.
It is the kind of visuals that Muslim communities are exposed to day in and day out on their social media. I mean, I just think the humiliation of the hijab row, that must have had huge impact on Muslims across class and, across whatever class divides. Because you get this information now. You see those viral videos of a woman being asked to take her. And I think there's so much anger within the community, and there is so much humiliation that there is going to be such a response.
All of you listening in, the Chhota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the Newslaundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to Newslaundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoro. Not to brag or anything, but Newslaundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing. Because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free. All Newslaundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.